Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. I'm Aaron Bingham, Product Manager with BayWa r.e. I want to thank everyone for joining. We're excited to be joined by Matt Unverfurth and Aaron Wright from Duracell Power Center. We'll be learning about the Duracell Power Center team and their new product, the Duracell Home Ecosystem. Without further ado, I'd like to go ahead and pass it over to Matt. Matt from Duracell Power Center, please take it away.
Aaron, thank you so much, sir, and thank you for inviting us to this. Really appreciate this opportunity. I'm going to grab my screen share here and get started. All right, well, thank you again, Aaron and Carly. So we're introducing Duracell Home Ecosystem. This has been in the works for quite some time, and now we have our complete suite of product offerings to tell you about today. As you can see with the electrification of this home, which is what we're talking about here, integrating solar panels with Duracell microinverters into a home energy storage system, and obviously having an EV charger. And yes, it is going to look like a giant Duracell 9-volt battery, and then all wrapped up with our Duracell app. There will be an installer version of the app, of course, we'll talk about later, but this is basically what the consumer app would look like. All right, let's see. So I wanted to speak to some points. This is a new product offering from Duracell, but this is not new technology. Duracell wanted to get past the alkaline space and get into the home energy storage market. They found it was quicker and easier to find a product that was already existing, and they vetted a company that had been making energy storage for 8 years, have been making inverters for 25 years. So this isn't new. There's actually thousands of these deployed around the world, and mainly here in North America. So there is a lot of expertise and experience behind this, and this partner with Duracell is very exciting. This just began this year. I think the first press release was November last year, but we rolled it out, and product is being shipped out of in final assembly in San Jose, California. We do have a certified partner program, which we'll touch on later. That's twofold. One, inviting our installation partners to go to market together, the sales and marketing efforts together. Then the other part is, of course, getting those installers, the technicians trained and certified so that they can purchase from BayWa and be able to install successfully the first time. And then I mentioned the facility in San Jose. There is definitely a significant investment in manufacturing there. This is in Silicon Valley. This is white glove all the way. And if you ever have an opportunity to come visit, we'd certainly love to host you there. We are set up to ship out of there right now. We have product sitting on the floor. And that feeds right into our partnership with BayWa r.e. Once again, this is a valued partnership of ours, looking forward to going to market together. The products are flowing into the market now. The energy storage system that I'll talk about momentarily is on the floor in BayWa r.e. warehouses as we speak. So this is the first product offering I'll speak about. I mentioned microinverters from that first graphic. This is another situation where there is an existing product that Duracell vetted and basically is going to white label. It's a very robust product. It had existed here in North America, not much of a footprint. They didn't have a strong sales and support background. Well, we do now. So these will be the Duracell microinverters. There are singles, duals, and quads. And what I mean by that is, single is 1-to-1 to a PV panel. A dual is you have one microinverter for 2 PV panels, and the quad, 1 microinverter for 4 PV panels. The value prop there is just less equipment to put on the roof. Less time means less labor, which means potentially more profitable or more feasible. The single and the dual both can handle a mod up to 470 watts. So every mod that BayWa is selling right now today should fit into this. You know, every year the mods get bigger and more powerful. We'll be able to expound upon that as those get larger. But the output the single is 350 watts. That is above the industry standard for a single microinverter, and it's exactly double that for the dual. The quad's a little bit different. The output on this is 1500 watts, and it can handle a mod up to 505 watts. And you can see up here, you can have a connection of up to 16 PVs per branch. I'm going to go to the next slide here and get more into it. Another value prop of having less time on the roof is the quick connect modular AC trunk cable format. So you purchase this cabling in these pre-measured lengths, either 2 meter or 4 meter. And you can do that real quick. That means either a portrait or a landscape. You buy it by the drop. So you only need a drop for every mod. You can buy a complete box, or you can just buy what you need as a contractor to fulfill that job. If you do purchase a whole box and you don't use all those drops all go back in the box, in the truck, and are used on the next project. Way less cutting of wire on the roof, way less time on the roof. And the commissioning process is also allowing for less time on the roof. There's a map when you open up the hub of our system. It's a data transfer unit, and there's a large piece of paper in there. It looks like a blank canvas of a roof. You take the stickers, each of the microinverters, you put them on that map, and each of those stickers has its QR code. Well, when you're off the roof and in your truck or back in the office, you can marry that system together. Once again, less time on the roof. Then the thing that the entire system, it's a simple termination to a standard junction box and a home run to the main panel or sub panel. There's no specialized combiner box. As I mentioned, it's a hub. It basically looks like a router, and that will reside probably inside the garage, somewhere where it gets a strong enough Wi-Fi signal from the home internet and is close enough to receive and send signals to the PV system. So the singles are great. A lot of people will just want to jump onto those because they're familiar with it. The duals and quads really do give you an advantage, and that's something that we'd like to, really try and push and promote. Less time on the roof with the same kind of functionality just kind of makes sense. You're still going to get individual solar module optimization and monitoring. So why do 1-to-1 when you can do 1-to-2, if depending on the shape of the array, of course, or 1-to-4? It's just kind of a smart way to go. Now we're going to segue over to residential energy storage systems. For this year, for right now, we have this system here on the left. This is intended for essential load backup. And yes, there's 14 kilowatts of continuous power. On the right here, this is a 14 kilowatt hour cabinet. If you compare this to our main competitors, this is stronger and has more storage capacity. This product can add storage capacity. So the SKU that you'll receive, I'll show you in another picture, but you get all this in one SKU along with a hub. You can add storage cabinets. So it starts with 14 kilowatt hours. You can add a second storage cabinet right next to it and have 28 kilowatt hours. You could actually add a third one and get to 42 kilowatt hours of storage capacity, which that'll get you through the night. What is going through final UL 9540A approval is this system on the right. And you can see it looks very similar to the one on the left. It is actually two of them married together. You can see the two inverter cabinets are next to each other in this case. And then the storage cabinets are on the outside. So the longer cabinet here in both cases is where the actual battery cells are housed. So this is two of these 14 kilowatt hour cabinets. So this system is 10 kilowatts of power with 28 kilowatts of storage. And you can put another cabinet on both sides to get to 56 kilowatt hours of storage. That's pretty substantial. It is safe, reliable chemistry. It's LFP. I'll go over that in a second. You can install this indoors or outdoors, depending on the temperature range of the location of the home. Maximum installation flexibility, pardon me, meaning that you can add storage. And then yes, it's intended for home backup. So I've kind of run through a couple of these reasons. I think everybody on the call that does business with adding storage to solar understands why people want it. They want energy independence. They want to use all that power that they pay for when they purchase a solar system and put it on their roof. Why not use it all? You absolutely should be as reliant as possible. Even when the grid is up and healthy, the sun's shining on your panels, you're making energy, keep that energy. Don't trade it to the grid. Not every NEM situation's equitable or fair. So use all your own power if possible. Time of use cost savings, that's specific to that. And we might take questions on that later. But for the energy storage systems, you'll have that conversation with the homeowner at that kitchen table. Do you want to have your energy storage system set up for time of use? In other words, to have the power be drawn from the battery at the time of use begins and will stop when it ends? Or would you like to have it on self-consumption, which in my opinion, I think is smarter because you're going to use more of that power and cycle the battery deeper. We have a deep cycle capable battery. So if you fill it up, you can drain the thing and have it still be live and have a heartbeat and fill it up the next day when the sun comes back up. Backup power protection, of course, when there's public safety power shutoffs or there's an accident, a power pole gets hit or a windstorm knocks, there are still above ground power lines, especially where I live here in Northern California, in PG&E service area. So it's not uncommon that happens. Honestly, if you put PV on your home without storage, you've really got half a system. A whole system around the world, not just here in the United States, around the world, almost every homeowner that has photovoltaic, that makes their own energy, stores it and uses it every day. And then this final point is the grid services capability. Virtual power plants are starting to become in use here in the United States. It's kind of a forward-thinking thought where a community will decide, hey, we're all going to have PV, we're all going to have storage, we'll have shared energy when needed, less reliance on the grid. So our systems are all set up for VPP capability right now. So I'm going to get into a little bit more on the storage products here. I've touched on most of these points already. I do want to point out that this is a safe chemistry. This is lithium iron phosphate, LFP. This is not prone to thermal runaway. Unfortunately, all the AHJs they lump us all together. This is a safe chemistry. If it's inside someone's garage or even attached to the outside, it's not going to be hazardous and be prone to any thermal runaway. It just won't. It's not that kind of chemistry. It's non-toxic, it's non-hazardous, and actually the product is recyclable. We have on our product roadmap within maybe a year or two to start using recycled materials. Talk about sustainable. Well, let's walk that walk. That's something on our roadmap for sure. This has a deep cycle design, mainly because we have such a efficient bidirectional inverter. You get 6,000 cycles out of these energy storage systems. That's twice or 40% better than the other products that I won't mention on the market. Everybody's aware of the industry leaders in this. Our product here that you're looking at gets 6,000 cycles. In other words, it's going to last longer. So that equates to 15 years. The install is kind of a dream. I know installers have, if they've had experience with other energy storage products, the heavy part is, of course, the battery cells. And if it's all self-encased in a case, well, then you have to have some kind of a floor jack or a whole gang of people to get it out of the box, tilt it up on the wall, bolt it on the wall. Well, in our case, this battery cabinet where the actual battery cells are housed arrives empty, and you get the battery cells themselves in a separate box. So you hang this empty powder-coated aluminum cabinet on the wall, and then one by one, there are 4 LFP battery cells that slide in there. A 2-person crew can easily do this without a floor jack, without worried about safety or having to be some kind of strongman contest. Easy, easy, easy. I mentioned to be outside. This is a NEMA 3R rated enclosure, and you can see the ambient. You just don't want it to get too far below freezing, and definitely don't have it sitting in the sun. So this is the picture that I wanted you to see. This shows the complete SKU. Every white box here, when you purchase the Duracell home energy storage system from BayWa, you get this entire system. There's not a bunch of SKU numbers and stuff. You've got one SKU, and it's the hub, which we'll be talking about more in depth here in a moment. You've got the hub, you've got the inverter cabinet, and you get the battery cabinet, all inclusive. You're ready to go with a complete storage system. And I think I've touched on most of these other parts. I'm going to go to the next one because it points out more more specifically what each of these parts do and has housed in it. So the hub energy management system up here, that's got CTs in it so that it can measure the power coming in from the PV and the power going out to the grid. So it's the brain of the operation. The power control system here, which I also call the inverter cabinet, is here on the left. And you can see a little bit better where this Duracell logo is. There are a series of, there's 5 little windows. And when the PV is putting power into there, you'll see the lights go from left to right, left to right, left to right, filling that battery up. So the little space on the far left is the smallest and the one on the far right is the largest. So it'll be obvious how far along it is in charging and trying to fill that battery. Then at night, when you've got it set for self-consumption, the homeowner will see those little flashing green lights go the other direction. It's good for them to be able to see and understand what they have and to see that it's working. It's very user-friendly. I'm going to go to this next slide here. Oh, you know what? Before I go on, you can see that this part here is squared off. It says not included. These are the disconnects. That is not part of our SKU. Contractors will have to purchase that and bring that onto the site for themselves. Hell no, I got a dog barking. This was a survey that Duracell, when they decided to enter this market, they wanted to see what kind of interest they would garner. And they did this survey in the Bay Area, where you can see there's Tesla is prominently placed here. Well, Tesla had their car factory in Fremont. Of course, there's a lot of interest there. And you know, the Bay Area, Northern California, is pretty tech friendly. So we put this survey out to several hundred homeowners in the Bay Area. We had more people respond to the survey saying that they would choose a home energy storage system from Duracell more often than not. So that really convinced Mr. Bobby Mendez here, president of Duracell North America, Duracell Corp, the Berkshire Hathaway owned Duracell, that this was a good idea for his company to move forward. So they wanted to prove it. Of course, they're very measured and careful. And this was the proof in the pudding. I think I went the wrong way. I did go the right way. So we did talk about all that. I am going the wrong way, sorry. We already talked about most of this. I believe this has been covered. Then the newer model here, which will be available Q4, which is right around the corner here, it'll come in 2 options for the storage capacity. So you can buy it at 21 kilowatts or 28. In other words, that means these cabinets can house up to 4 of the battery cells. So if you don't need the 28 and 21 will suffice, you'll get 6 of the battery cells. 3 will reside in this left cabinet and 3 will reside in the right one. If you want the full 28, you can purchase it that way, and that'll be a separate SKU, 28 and 28. Then, as I mentioned previously, you can add full 14 kilowatt hour cabinets on either side. That's right around the corner. And this is going to be UL 9540A approved, meaning that in most AHJs, you can install this inside the garage. This is what it looks like on the wall. And to be honest with you, most of the installations in California tend to be on the outside of the house. People's garages or storage spaces, as you all know. But that's not a problem. This is NEMA 3R rated, case. As long as it's not sitting in direct sunlight, it'll be fine. You can see how neat and tidy we suggest having the install be. So here's those 2 disconnects, which you'll have to bring on site with you. And Aaron and his team, who Aaron will get a chance to talk here, highly recommends this formatting, using this gutter box below, bending less conduit, making it neat and tidy. So all the products are together in one clean, tight spot on the wall. This is how Duracell Corp would like it always to look. And this is how we're going to promote you to do the installation. This third bullet point here is key. You don't have to do hardly anything with the hub. It's already pre-integrated hardware from the factory. You'll of course have to pull the wiring into it and connect all these things together through this gutter box, but you're not going to have to put the components together. We've done that for you at the factory. This is should easily be a one-day hardware install, and the commissioning process is really just about, I don't know, probably averages 20 minutes. So that's quick and easy. So once the crew gets trained and has all the tips and tricks figured out, and they follow along with the non-bending of the conduit and do it just like this, a two-person crew should easily be able to do this in a regular shift. And that PTO can happen sooner than later. Think about the homeowners that made that decision to go with PV and add storage, and they've been suffering through power shutoffs, or they're paying time of use, whatever that case is. Once they've spent that money, the sooner they can get that PTO and take advantage of using this system that they pay good money for, better. So everything we've talked about here today, I've mentioned, helps make that happen sooner. That is huge. So let's dive into the hub just a little bit more. This product is compatible with any existing PV system because it's an AC coupled system. It doesn't matter if it's a legacy string inverter, another company's microinverter, does not matter. You name the company, it'll play with it just nice. If there's an existing system, the PV feed comes out of the main panel, will land here in the hub. And the hub will obviously be able to measure that power coming in, going out. As I mentioned about the CTs being there earlier on a previous slide. Stores solar energy in the battery, syncs with time of use plans. That's all programmed in there. And before you go on site, you'll have all that stuff set up for you in your integrator app. So you don't have to do that tedious type of data input while you're in the customer's garage or at their house. There's online monitoring, diagnostic, and service alarm tools so that you, as fleet integrator, will get an alert sooner than the homeowner will. And it might be something you can address from your homeowner app at your office. We tend to find that there's way less truck rolls with this product, which of course is music to everybody's ears. Truck rolls eat away at your profit margin. It takes guys off of scheduled job sites, and it just screws up the whole calendar. So you're going to find this to be way more user-friendly. Fourth bullet point, yes, emergency power reserve control, so that you can plan for and be ready for a power outage. If your utility does send out an alert, this system will automatically quit discharging power and save whatever has been stored. And then, as I mentioned already, this is fleet ready for virtual power plants and demand response, all grid services. This is a screenshot of the homeowner app. It's very similar to what you've seen in other locations. For those people on the call that are involved with sales and presentations, there is a demo version of that we can provide to you. I don't know if you'll notice here, this address here is actually our production facility in San Jose at 5400 Hellier Avenue. So we do have a live unit there, and that's the live unit that you'll see on your demo app. It's highly integrated. It offers every type of reporting. Obviously, this is a static image here, but you can see your energy reporting by the day, by the year, see it in real time. It's important that the homeowners get to see that their product's working, but it's also kind of, they're going to show it to their neighbor. Oh, look what I got. I got the Duracell home ecosystem app. Let me show you. That'll end up being the best way to get new leads, most likely. But this is a great, very robust app. We've worked on this hard, and it is ready to go now. You can see there's different things you can click on here. You can see your generation. This particular slide shows what it looks like when it's during power flow. So you'll see these, if it's during the day, the arrows will be coming from the PV to probably the battery and powering the home. If the battery's full and you're not using all your power, then you'll see some arrows going to the grid. And then vice versa at night. When the sun is down, you'll see the arrows coming from the from the energy storage system to the home, straight across here. To the next slide. And I know this may not be that easy to see, but this shows all the bar graphs that you can pull up. As a fleet aggregator, you can see all of your deployments. So I know it's hard to see, but these are three different sites. So as fleet aggregator, you'll have your plant list. So you'll see all of them here, and you can have a quick look to see that they're all working, what's going on there. And of course, you can click on each individual one and dive in more deeper to see what's going on there. You can have the graphing so you can see performance to make sure everything's up to snuff. You know, if there was something that happened to one of the PV panels, well, you'd see a drop in production, and you're going to know this before the homeowner. So you have a chance to be proactive instead of getting one of those distress calls from a homeowner that's concerned. These next two slides are going to be kind of hard to read, but these are going to be, actually, Aaron Bingham has already put links to these in the chat box. This is just a quick one line. These are available on all of our data sheets and install guides already. I just want to go by this real quick, but this is already set up to go, and you can see how this looks. I'm going to get to the next one here. This is obviously, I got some graphics and wording that's hard to read, but you all have access to this right now. And this is,
I'm sorry, just a small point of correction. Yeah, we don't have those links in the chat just yet, but we'll get them on there with the help of the Duracell team.
Yeah, we'll put those in there, but thank you, Aaron. I misspoke there briefly. This is actually us entertaining some guests at our facility in San Jose. That system I said that you could see monitoring, well, that's what's kind of taken apart here. And this is Mr. Aaron Wright over here giving a presentation to some installers. I'm going to turn it over to Aaron right now, but he's going to talk about these points, and then I'll slide to the next couple of slides. So Mr. Aaron Wright, welcome to the dais. Take it away.
Thank you, Matt. As Matt was saying, I'm Aaron Wright, training manager for Duracell Power Center. I actually am over on the East Coast. So for those of you on my side, you'll probably get to know me a little better as you kind of proceed through this process. As of right now, when it comes to our training, we're pretty hands-on. We try to help guys through the majority of what's going on. As you can see there, this is actually just one of our live demonstrations. As Matt said, this is the sort of treatment that you get when you visit our manufacturing facility there in San Jose. So we do have those periodically. We'll definitely let you know if that's something that you prefer, something a little more live and in person. That's well and good. To dive a little bit more into our certified partner program, Matt, if you could hit the next slide there. Thank you so much. So in our certified partner onboarding, there are a couple of things I want to point out first and foremost. So there should be distinctions made between our ecosystem training, our microinverter training, and our energy storage training. And the only reason I say that is if you're going to go through the ecosystem training, what that's going to involve is all of the products currently available. When you complete all of those trainings, now you're certified for the ecosystem. But you certainly can sell these products individually if that works better for you. So perhaps you're an installation company that hasn't delved quite into the energy storage side yet. That is fine. You can go ahead and use those microinverters. Because of the incredible difference in the product, the training is pretty different as well. We do have weekly webinars, bi-weekly webinars for our 5K system. That's actually part of what you're seeing there. And within the next 2 weeks, we will have a full installation webinar for our microinverter product as well. And in most cases, that will set you up well enough to give your guys the confidence to go up on a roof and really put those in. So when we're talking ecosystem and we're talking ESS, it becomes a little more involved, and that's what you're seeing here. So as you can see, there's actually several modules in the training. Again, for ecosystem / ESS, this one's specifically formatted for the 5 and 10K. The first training module, we have an incredible sales team amongst our staff, and that training module 1 is actually our salespeople training your salespeople. So they'll take some time, they'll get on a quick webinar, a quick call, and they'll actually kind of guide your salespeople through the finer points, the ways that they can sell, the ways that we're different from others. And so they'll actually take all of that time and make sure that your guys are ready. And it's a crucial point of what we do, because concurrently, what we want them to do is to get that training and then go out and start trying to find somebody who's really interested in the Duracell product. While that's going on, what we're going to do is we're going to start training your designers. And that starts with this webinar, like I said, bi-weekly, with yours truly, or one of my team. Edwin Smith actually helped me out today, so thanks, Edwin. As you can see, we talk about system design, planning for our AC coupled solar plus storage and backup. We talk about use cases, and we do a pretty in-depth SLD review that includes really designing backup loads panels. For any energy storage system, that's going to be the main manner of success, is really planning those out. So we spent some time doing that. And then from there, we really become your kind of hands-on instructor. So once you have your sales guys have found a potential client, then you all will start designing. We work with your designers. So we actually require that you submit your single line drawing, and we actually talk through it. We make sure that it makes sense. I'm a former installer myself. In August of 2020, I was on roofs here in Florida and installing the things. So we want to make sure that when your installers go out to the field, they have all of the information that they need, that the single line drawing is correct, that they're able to go out and do it quickly, and then replicate it. Matt, if you want to move on, then we can talk about some of the later exciting. So after that, after single line drawing is approved, we ask you to send it to the AHJ. Of course, we're not going to, we want to encourage everybody to do it the right way. We want your homeowners to be protected. So of course, permitting is a requirement. And we want to make sure that you're getting those. So while that is going on, we're going to start getting you ready on that fleet account, which Matt was talking about earlier. So he was kind of guiding you through that, showing you what you could see and so on and so forth. So that fleet program is what we're going to get you set up for in this training module 3. And that's going to be now transitioning from us working directly with your designer to us working directly with whoever is going to administrate those accounts. So if you have a project manager, maybe you're a smaller company and the boss does it, it doesn't matter who does it. We're going to train them to make sure that they're ready for when those systems go live, so that they can be ready to monitor them. And as Matt said, in many cases, do a little off-site troubleshooting and possibly even getting those systems back online without a truck roll and without inconveniencing your homeowner. Because as he said, you all will get notified, and those notifications will allow you to jump on and say, oh, this just needs reset, or it needs you know, a new software update or anything like that. And you can work with us, and we can make sure that we're saving you as much time and money as possible. At the conclusion of that step 3, you'll hopefully have had your permits back. You send them to us, and then from then on, we're going to start preparing your installers. Now, the best and by far the most preferred method of this right now is actually on-site training. Now, we have a limited capacity for that. It was intended for our kind of first run installers. We have a few spots left on that. So if that's something that you're interested in, of having somebody on site, certainly don't take your time, because again, we don't have a whole lot of that left. This entire training process is going to start to change. It's going to move online. But again, if you're perhaps just getting into the battery game, this is definitely the kind of training that you would dream of. So this is going to help you as you move throughout that. Again, when that's not possible, you can still get one-on-one training for what we call commissioning. So if you'll see training module 5 there, that's the commissioning training. And somebody from the service or training teams are actually going to commit. Of course, you have to schedule it ahead of time. But once you have that scheduled, we're going to take our time to train your guys how to commission that on site. So we'll actually take over their computer. We'll show them whether it's remote or you have somebody standing over your shoulder. All right. So once again, the big one, the certification for the ESS product will be after 1 week of successful operation. You're going to get your certification number. And from then on, you can go to BayWa and you can buy as many of these units as you possibly want. So you can literally go to town and buy, as far as I'm concerned, you can buy every one of them. Okay, so that's kind of the concept for the ESS and ecosystem. So it's important to recognize ecosystem, kind of the top of the tree, and you need all of the roots. And the ESS is one root. And then, of course, the microinverter route is another route. And that one a little more shallow. Most of the time, those of you that are already in the solar industry, you know how microinverters work. They're not overly complex. If you've put microinverters on a roof before, this is very, very similar. I like ours better. I like them better because when I was an installer, the ability to save and move things around, save every drop, that was valuable to me because now I can put them in the truck and have them for a worst case scenario. So that's what I like about our system with the micros. But once again, training, this ecosystem, imagine as the branches of the tree, and then all of these different products are its roots. All right, Matt, if you want to advance to the next one there.
Absolutely. So I'm going to go ahead and chime in here.
Sure.
This does conclude our slide deck. I did touch on the EV charger briefly. I don't think I completed that comment. So that will be coming to market in Q4 of this year. It is an 80 amp. It's a very strong product. You can dial it down to 60, 40, 20. Spec sheets to follow, but that is definitely something to be available and part of the ecosystem that you can purchase from BayWa r.e. later this year. Right here, you can see basic contact information. Obviously, reach out to your BayWa sales rep. Myself and all of my fellow Duracell Power Center salespeople have relationships already started with the BayWa r.e. outside sales reps, and we have relationships. We're meeting people like you every day, but feel free to reach out to them and get connected to one of us so we can go to market together.
Fantastic. Yeah, thank you, Matt and Aaron, for putting together this deck and sharing this information. It's a really exciting launch for us. I think one of the things that I'm pretty excited about is the fact that, you know, folks will be able to order a single SKU and have everything come on a single pallet. It really simplifies the ordering process, the inventory management process, in a way that makes, you know, if this is going to be your first energy storage installation or your 50th, it'll click really easily with processes that you've already developed or are developing. So it's a great product. Yeah, so everyone, please feel free to use the Q&A to ask any questions you may have. Got a couple in here already, and it looks like we had a couple come through on chat. So first question, can you mix and match different microinverters on the same installation? And
Yeah.
I would take that further and maybe just talk about the general limitations as well that would apply when it comes to mixing this product with other products on the same site. I think this is about specifically quads with singles and duos, but maybe speak more generally about what folks should know.
Sure. The first thing I would say is not only can you, I think you should. What we look at is you using the best microinverters for the case that you have. All right. So again, for those quads, I'm going to speak to you as an installer. For those quads, what you're looking at are 2 rows on top of one another. So you're looking at, it doesn't really matter if they're landscape or portrait, but 2 rows on top of each other. That way you can get that quad as close to the center of all 4 of those as possible. And as much as you can use those, that's my suggestion. If you start to go into your single rows, that's fine. That's when you switch over to your duals. And then if you have one panel that kind of hanging off by itself, that's when you use the singles. So to that point, generally a designer has a lot of accessibility to this. So they're able to utilize, mix and match. The only restriction, as Matt had said earlier, is that you're at 16 strings per panel. All right. So the important part to know,
16 panels per string. Right?
Yes, excuse me. Yes,
yeah.
16 panels per string. Yes, thank you. And it doesn't matter which microinverters that you're using. So if that's 4 quads, that's fine. 8 duals, that's fine, or anything mixed in there between.
That's really cool. So everyone kind of would have to change the way that they're thinking about their system layouts on the roof a little bit, because where you have those opportunities to service 4 modules with a single unit, you would want to try to make sure that you're going to the quads in that case. But
Sure.
In cases where it's more limited, you're using either the single or the duo.
And in addition to that, again, I'll point out the trunk cable. I know my sales team is so tired of me talking about this trunk cable, but
Well, it's new to everybody else on the call, so yeah.
yeah. So what's really cool about our trunk cable, when we call it modular, what that means is, again, you're taking 4 panels. In the case of quads, you're taking 4 panels and using a single drop. So for those of you that are used to purchasing by the drop, you have to understand that every drop is as up to 4 panels. It can be up to 4 panels. So not only is it sometimes easier to avoid the singles and put them on every drop, but it's also more cost effective, because not only are you using fewer microinverters, you're also using fewer drops, and that modular capability allows you to save every one of those drops. You don't have to cut them off. You don't have to waste them. You don't have to cap them. You can use every one. So it's really, really special, and makes our system much more modular, and ultimately, when you get comfortable and familiar with it, a great way to save a lot of money.
Fantastic. Okay. Let's see here. So in terms of the training, is there any cost associated with that? Was a question I had come in through the chat.
As of right now, no cost involved in that whatsoever. I am not so naive as to think that that won't be the case, or that will be the case forever. But as of right now, this is us trying to build relationships with you. And in truth, that's what this training process is. I could just hand you a manual and say good luck, but that's not what we want. We want you to be involved with every step of the way. That's the reason our training process involves our sales team. They're really going to be kind of those administrators, the bosses. They're going to be their point of access. And for those guys on the ground, it's going to be my service team or myself. So if you really think about it, it's our sales guys training sales guys, it's myself training designers, and then it's our service techs training guys in the field. So it's really a relationship-based thing, and we want to help you as best we can.
Another one from the chat here. So I'll just kind of paraphrase. It's basically saying Duracell is a really well-known brand, and this person is wondering, how will they, beyond just being able to offer the product, is there any way that they're going to be able to capitalize on a partnership with Duracell? Is there any, can they advertise that
Absolutely.
they're offering the product?
Yeah, Aaron, I'd like to speak to that. I touched on it briefly. We definitely promote co-marketing, co-branding. When an installer decides to become a Duracell dealer partner of ours, I will send them an agreement to sign. And like Aaron said today, that there is no cost, there's no commitment or quota. There is a commitment to completing the training before touching anything. But once that's completed, then I send a resources link to that new dealer partner. That resources link has all the install manuals, all the data sheets, install guides. It's got a link with our logos. We would highly suggest using that Duracell name and put our logo on your website, on your trucks, on your shirts, whatever, co-branding, co-marketing, mailers, you name it. We do trade events. I'm located here in Northern California, and I'm lucky I have the facility in the backyard. I host people there on a regular basis. We have a Duracell van we can take to events. We are absolutely going to proactively go to the market with your customers, Aaron, and provide whatever resources we can to do this together to help generate more sales.
It's fantastic. Okay. Let's see here. A couple of questions from the Q&A section. So where is the PV system AC wire? Where are this PV system AC wires connected? Exterior load center 20 amp breaker, or do they run into a CT cabinet? Maybe run.
Okay, I got what he's sniffing around here. So we actually, you're going to run your PV into the backup loads panel. So our backup loads panel is what's going to control basically everything. So Our hub, the CT wires will go around the entirety of the PV. So as far as max PV input is concerned, which is his next question, they kind of flow together. So
Okay.
The max PV is 5 kW into that backup loads panel that is controlled by the 5K hub. The same is true of the 10K. However, it is not limited to that amount of PV. You can sell them however much you'd like to. Okay, you can sell them as many micros as you want. That is well and good. Our max is what you're going to feed into the backup loads panel that's going to be controlled by our hub. So whether it's 5 or 10K, that's what's going to be utilized when the power goes down. We use frequency shifting to basically convince your inverter, as Matt said, whatever inverter it is, a retrofit, SMA, or what have you, whatever you're using, we use its safety features to trick it to turn back on, and then our automatic transfer switch protects against those grid back feeds. So yeah, where it lands is into a backup loads panel, and the max is dependent on, of course, which system you have, but it's either 5 or 10 kW max PV input.
Okay, I think we're all up on questions there.
There's one new one in the Q&A.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was asking about monitoring, and Jose, that's going to be dependent on the product that we're talking about, but pretty much anything can be Wi-Fi. To be honest with you, if you're talking about the micro hub, the communication device, honestly, I think the easiest thing to do is hardwire that right into the customer's router or modem, simply because in most cases it can live right next to that thing. So you don't have to move it all around. So in many cases, it's easier to just grab, a 3-foot Ethernet cable and plug it directly in. But if that doesn't work for you, it does have Wi-Fi capability.
Fantastic. Yeah, great questions. And sorry, I missed that last one there. Thank you for catching me. Okay. Well, unless there are any other questions that pop in, I think it's time for me to go ahead and say thank you so much to Matt and Aaron for joining us today. We really appreciate everyone hopping on the call today, learning a little bit more about Duracell Power Center. Reach out to us over at BayWa r.e. Check out our web store for more information about the product. Let us know if you have any questions, and we'll be happy to serve you and make sure that you're in touch with anybody on the Duracell team that can help you in any way. So yes, if you don't already have an account manager on the BayWa r.e. team, go ahead and go to our website and click on register to create an account for yourself. And we'll be in touch with you to help walk you through the next steps to getting that set up. Thanks everyone for joining us again, and we'll see you all soon.